Hey, good afternoon, Nighthawks. Hey, this is Dr. H. I want to go over some do's and don'ts. I'm going to share my screen with you real quick concerning the group project. Um, I think you should be able to see this here. Um, this is a pretty good slide. I don't like the the angled black and white, but this is a doable slide for sure. And the some of the drawbacks I would say is remember I asked you to keep everything in a 36 font. Hell, this one's 35. And what this tells us is we're not really paying attention to the details of the assignment, and that is a must, whether you're in the workplace or you're in an academic conference. Um, we're looking for uniformity. Uniformity shows that you pay attention to detail, and someone that pays attention to detail, others will give more credit and give more attention to the individuals. Now, with the title of the slide, we can get away with it, but as you see here, it's a different font. So right there, that's two different fonts on the first page. Okay. One was a 35. What was the other one here? It's a 19. So we're going to keep track of this as we go through this. With this slide, there was no introduction. Um, and there should be an introduction. When you're presenting in your place of work, or you're presenting at a conference or in a classroom, hi, my name is Dr. Harley. I will be presenting to you today on the role of AI in privacy and security of health information. I'll be covering topics XYZ. My partner or my peers, or however you want to introduce the next person, Dr. Mori. Dr. Mori will be presenting on topics ABC, Dr. Morris, DEF, and Dr. Gibbings, GHI, and we'll end the discussion with some questions. So that's how your introduction should go. So we go to the next slide, and it's completely different. Let's do this. No, let's not do that. It's completely different than the first slide. The font is a 48 here. Your bullet points where I asked for your fonts to be a 36 or a 31. And this is the second different. So we have two different fonts and we have two different font colors. And so far we're up to four different font sizes. We are up to two slides that are different colors and different formats. I love the picture. Um, I would like this better if it had been the 36, so it's not so overwhelming. And then these were 36 and they were of the same font. Okay. Now we see how big they are. So maybe we take them down a little bit. You could have put just analyze, and then you could have talked about data integrity, uh, encrypt information, and then you could have spoke on that, right? Safeguard, and then plan for future. And then you could have discussed what you're planning. Are you planning for future attacks and what have you? Here, the speaker did not introduce himself, so I had no way of knowing who presented this slide. Give yourself credit. You know, I always talk and make notes on your discussion boards and your papers. If you use someone else's work or you use someone else's idea, cite that, give that individual credit for the work they've done that you're using. The same goes for yourself, right? If you are doing something and you are presenting work, you are the subject matter expert, and everyone should know who you are. Um, Also, image reference, and we've got it's got the actual hyperlink. We don't need the hyperlink. We don't need the .com. We just need the citation. Just APA citation, and your citations can be teeny tiny. We just need to know it's there because when we get to the reference pages, we're going to see that citation, correct? So here's slide number 3, completely different. What font do we have here? The 36. That's the fifth different size font. It's the third different color. And this slide has no correlation, doesn't match anything, the other two slides. And there's another font. So now we are up to one, two, three, four, five, six different font sizes. It's cited incorrectly here. And once again, the speaker did not introduce himself, so I had no way of knowing who the speaker was. So we go to slide 4, and I'm not going to go through all of them. I just want to go through a few. This slide really matches the first slide really, really well, and this is a good slide. Um, I would rather that be a bullet point because when you see them separated like this, in the audience first sees it, is this what we're talking about? Are these two items opposing each other? What do we have here? Now, at least these two fonts match fonts from prior slides, so we're good there. But at this point, we have three different formatted slides, six different fonts, three different font colors. We go to this one. This is not a bad slide either. But remember, I told you to stay away from dark colors because it's harder to read in the background. 35 font, so we're under the 36. This is another font. So this is the fourth different font size. And did we have a 21? No, we didn't have a 21. So now we're up to one, two, three, four, five, six, seven different font sizes, four different fonts, three different slide types. This one really matches the slide prior and slide number one really well. Like I said, try to stay away from dark colors. I'd rather you use the UNG template. I've offered that to students. If you still have time and you want to use it, feel free to switch over. So slide number 6, different font size again. So now we're up to one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I feel like the electric company, for those of you who know what the electric company is. So we have, and it's one of the four different fonts we've had. It's a font 26. That is the ninth different font we have. Size wise, these should be 36s. I like the light color. I like the trim. Uh, but then the photo is just too dark. And like I said, in the back of a room, these are harder to read. Um, and we used a wiki website for the picture. And we really want to stay away from wikis when presenting or citing of any kind, because with wiki, they could have taken this from someone else, placed it in wiki, and the original photo image is not, whoever put that on there is not getting credit for it. So this slide is the fourth different slide. There's no other slide like this in the presentation. And once again, we still haven't had an introduction of anyone. So, when you come to a slide for the first time, now if you presented this slide, you would say, "Hi, I'm Dr. Harley. I'm going to discuss achieving interoperability and patient privacy and security." And you would move on and you would do your slide, and then you would go to the next one and you would say, "Oh, in here, I'm going to discuss." When you get to here, you would be like, "Oh, um, so here you would say, oh, now I'm going to pass it on to Dr. Mori, and Dr. Mori is going to speak to you about transparency, privacy, and security." And Dr. Mori would introduce herself and say, "Hi, my name is Dr. Mori. I'll be discussing transparency, privacy, and security. And some of the bullet points that we'll cover is epistemology and ethical dilemma, clarity, openness of AI algorithm, and high competence gap." And then you would go into the description. Here we have a different size font again. So now we are up to 10 different fonts, four different slides, font sizes. 24, has the 24 been used? It has not. So now we're up to 11 different font sizes. This would be a really hard thing to read from the back of a room. Dark, white, dark. And when we put our presentations together, we have to think like they may not be in a Zoom session right here in front of me. It might be someone, you may have 40 people in a room, and it might be someone sitting in the back of the room. You may have someone that's visually impaired. There's a lot of things going on here that we really have to focus and think about how we do our and structure our presentations so that they benefit everyone. This was probably my favorite slide of the group. Um, so they explain exactly what the slide is, and that's the wrong font size. We have a different font color and a different font. So this is the fifth different font, and it's the fifth different color. But I like the slide all in all. It's simple, and it allows the presenter to do the presentation. The problem we had with this slide is the presenter spent 7 minutes and 20 seconds on this slide. Once you go, and we know this from research, once you get over about a minute 15, minute 20 on a slide, you're going to lose your audience. Spending 7 minutes on one slide, um, that's a lot. Um, and you will be penalized for that as far as your grade goes. But if you're presenting at work or you're presenting at a conference, people are going to tune you out. They're going to forget who you are. And you're not going to be the one to thought of if numbers have to be trimmed down, who do I keep? You might be in that who do I not keep category because they feel like they have to go back and teach you how to do this. And that's not anything I want for any of you. Let's take a look. This was a good slide. It was just too wordy. Like nothing wrong with this. Of course, the 38 is a different font size. We're now up to 12 different font sizes. It's these should be citations, not the actual websites. I love the pictures because the pictures correlate or correspond with what's going on over here. Um, you really didn't need to put in the blockchain technology and in patient privacy. That can be part of your speech. You could let people know, hi, I'm Dr. Harley. I'm going to be talking to you today about what's next for AI healthcare, and that's to include secure data, smarter decisions, surgical precision, and ethical concerns. And then you could go into the information that you have up here. This is a wasted slide. You should never have this in your PowerPoint. At least we have a font that we've had before. We have a font size that we've had before. But this is a totally different formatted slide. So now we've got the six different format. Um, you don't, this is something that you could have put this question here. So you said, you could have said, hi, I'm Dr. Harley, and now I'm going to discuss why the role of AI is an important subject in healthcare. AI in healthcare is transforming, it's generative, and it raises privacy and security concerns. And you could have even have shortened this. This is actually not a bad slide if you had gone away from the darker font, the darker border up top. We've seen this font size and this font. Um, this one, we have seen both of these as well. I would have shortened these down. You could have shortened it down to AI's transforming diagnostics. A generative AI has an impact. It's not up to us to decide what type of impact. We just want to present that it has had an impact in healthcare. And then you can discuss the medical innovation. And then AI, and you could have just said private, there are privacy and security concerns in AI, and then gone on to discuss it. Outside that, I like the slide a lot. This slide works really well with the one prior. So no complaints in that regard. Once again, none of the speakers introduced themselves in their slides. Um, I think one did. Here we have this slide again. It's just not needed. This is not a bad slide if we hadn't gone so dark. A lighter blue, maybe. But all in all, this is a pretty good slide. We have another font size. So now we're up to 13. Make that 14. Wow. Okay. And then let's look at our references. Now, I would really like it, and I talked about this in some of our meetings. At the very beginning up here, your second slide should have been um, these are some of the things we're going to cover and have like a questions, 3 or 4 questions here. And then your last slide prior to your references, you have that same exact slide, except you have it with the answers. Now, when you look at this slide, tell me what you see wrong here. Well, obviously, since you're watching this, you can't do that. It's got a little bit of a blur to it, and you could tell that if I had to guess, this is either a JPEG or It was a copy and paste off a different format than what they were using. And then when we go to the next one, this one actually looks like it was typed in or it came right out of Word. So even on our references, we have two different formats. So I'm going to pull up the example just real briefly that I provided you, and I want you to see the difference. Don't save. When you look at this, when you look at the example that I gave you, okay, um, there was an introduction done where they introduced everyone. The only slide I had an issue with in the entire presentation was this one because it was a little bit different than the rest. And when we look at the bullet points, they're not the correct size. But outside that, when you go through this slide and you look at it, they use the same font. They had different font sizes, and not all the font sizes were correct, but it was really close enough. But when you go through this, it looks like one person put all the slides together. It doesn't look like five individuals. Okay. And when you look at the references all look correct. This doesn't look like five individuals. Okay. So, and that's what I want you to strive for. I want you to look at um, your PowerPoint presentation, and does it look like one person did it? Does it look like five individuals did it? Um, did you go against the rubric? Do you have 14 different font sizes, six different fonts, and six different templates? You should have one template. And a template, it may be white with a light blue on one and then light blue with white on the next, but they're the same blues and we're using the same everything really. We're using the same single font all the way through. We're doing the 36 font on our bullet points. Your headings can always be a little bit smaller. Try to keep them over 30. Try not to go over 36 because we want that uniformity. And so I want to show you a way not to do it and a way to do it. So if you go back and you look at the example, that's the way to do it. And if you want the UNG template, I'll send that to you. Um, Keep in mind, this is due April 25th, 11:59 p.m. There'll be no extensions. So if you turned in on April 26th, everyone's getting a zero. And I don't want to do that. And keep in mind, as quizzes and exams that are coming up, they'll be due at noon, just like they have been all semester. So make sure that you're aware of that. If you have any questions, if you want me to look it over, please send it to me before you turn it in. That's what I'm here for. Um, I've taken some of the one of the groups have turned in their comment sheets, and I've taken that to heart. And so for upcoming courses, um, excuse me, there are going to be individual due dates set just like they were assignments. For the different pieces due. Other than that, if you have any other suggestions, please let me know. I'm always here. I'm always willing to listen and look what we can do to better the course for the upcoming students. Other than that, have a great Nighthawk day. You've got this. You've only got about a week left of assignments, and then you have a week to prepare for the finals, and then you're going to destroy the finals, and you're going to do fantastic. I have all the faith in the world in you. So, with that being said, have a great Nighthawk Nation. Get out and support your Nighthawk teams, whether they're academic, athletic, music, acting, band, first gen students, whatever the case may be. Get involved somehow, some way with your UNG community because you have a fantastic UNG community. And outside that, everyone have a great and wonderful Nighthawk day. Thanks. Bye.